Welcome. My name is Jeremy O'Connell, and I am the lead developer or programmer for the Connect2SSH Bash utility. In this video, I'm going to show you how you create an SSH key. You may have heard that it's much better to use a key file instead of just logging in with a password for SSH, because it's a lot harder to guess the key than it is a short password. The best security is to have a key with a password or passphrase. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you're somebody who's familiar with this is old hat to you, you can move on. If you're somebody who is new, have wondered about these key files, then this should be a very educational video to you. So let me go ahead and get out of the full screen image here, and I'm going to connect to a server. So I'm here sitting at Ubuntu Mate 1604 LTS VirtualBox, and I want to connect to a CentOS machine running, happens to be a VirtualBox machine as well. So I want to connect to that. So just to make sure we can connect, I'm going to issue the SSH command, and I'm going to issue the username and password. So I'm going to do CentOS or CentOS dev at, and then we have to have some way to connect to it, fully qualified domain, an IP, something like that, in this case an IP. And since this is the first time connecting to this host, I'm going to get this. Are you sure you want to connect to this host? It'll add the fingerprint. You have to type in yes. If you answer no, you can't connect. So yes, it's been permanently added. Now you see this line here, it says no such identity. It's trying to use a key that's already on my system that doesn't match. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the password, which is testing. Don't tell anyone. So don't want to let anyone know it's testing, okay? Anyway, so we are now in, the command prompt has changed from developer at Mate to CentOS dev at CentOS-dev, and that is the host name if I type in host name of this VirtualBox machine. So I'm going to clear that, and we're logged in. But we want to do something with a little bit more security, a lot better security, really, a whole lot better security. So in order to do this, we need to create an SSH key, and then we'll be using this in an upcoming video on Connect2SSH when we actually connect using the commands. And you'll see why I like this utility. So I'm going to exit out of this machine. So let's go ahead and create an SSH key. So let's go ahead and create one. So I'm going to go ahead and on this, usually the standard place to put keys is, well, I'm in my home folder, so let's just do a present working path directory. And we can see that I'm in my home directory, home/developer. So most of the time you'll put keys in at least the default is to put them in the .ssh directory. And if I ls this, you'll see that I get some keys. And I get a key, I should say, a public key. And you'll see the known hosts. Remember we just added the known host, so if I were to cat the known host, you will see the known host that was added is in there. So if I delete that, it'll ask us again. So that's how that works. I'm going to, though, put this information in a .keys directory. And I think that exists. Let's double check. Yes, it does. We're getting a directory listing. And here we have some keys in there already. We'll clean those out, delete those. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go into the .keys directory. If it did not exist, I could use make dir mkdir, and we're going to be in the key directory. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and I want to get rid of these keys. So I want to create some new keys for you guys. So let's go ahead and remove any keys that are in here. So I'm going to issue the rm command with CentOS and then the little star asterisk type command, or wildcard command. Hit enter, and then if I ls, we have nothing in here anymore. So clear that. So I've gone ahead and copied this, pasted these in here, because there's two types of keys that you mainly will see. So let's go to and you'll have to bear with me, I'm in a virtual machine, and for some reason the mouse doesn't always work. It's not always on target. It's a little flaky. It works fine on my bare metal Linux, but on this Ubuntu Mate VirtualBox machine, it sometimes doesn't click exactly where I want it to. Anyway, the command is SSH -keygen, and then there's some flags. You can set the type. The two most common, or what I recommend, is RSA or this ECDSA, which is newer than RSA. And for you don't need quite as big of a bit key to get the same protection, but it's slower to authenticate. There's kind of a debate which one should be used. Right now, I still prefer the RSA key. Not all machines will accept RSA. It can be actually configured to not accept an RSA key, so you might have to generate different ones. Anyway, -T is the type. Then we have -B, which is the bit, how many bits, how big of bits you want. I don't make anything less than 4096. Sometimes I go stronger, but 4096 is generally what I make. Then you can have a comment. This is optional. You don't have to have a comment, but I like to put a comment. The comment must be whatever text between quotes, so you can have a space. And then it's not required, but if I suggest you do -F, and that is the file name. That way, in case you have multiple keys, you don't have them all be thrown into one file or overwrite information. I like to have multiple keys. So I'm going to try and highlight this. Like I said, the mouse is doesn't always work exactly the way I want it to here in this virtual box machine. Okay, so I'm just going to paste this in here. Obviously, you could, if you were having to do command line stuff, you have to type all this in here. And I'm just going to hit enter. It's generating the public-private RSA key pair, because that's what we told it. The type is RSA. Now, this is in essence, a password. It says passphrase, but you have to type this in here to unlock the key file. So if you just leave this blank, we will have no password. And you'll see when I go to log in, it's just going to log in once we set it in there. So it's been generated. I'll clear this. You can see here, 4096. I'll hit clear, do an ls, and now we have our two key files. The first one here is private. The one without any extension is private. Never share that. That is a key. Well, maybe you have to share that with another sysadmin or something, but never share this key. This key is what is basically identifying that, hey, this is me. This is an authentic user, me, not anyone else, me. This other one here with the .pub here, and again, as I said, the mouse is doesn't work 100% spot on, but the .pub is the public key. This is what we put on devices we want to connect to. That's okay to share. So I'm going to go ahead and cat that so that I can get this key here, because we need to copy this. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and so we can paste it to the machine. Now you can use, there's copy methods and stuff to auto do this. They will auto do this all for you, but I want to show you how you actually do this without where this is all being put. So instead of just doing just copy it over there with the built-in SSH copy keys and all that, key ID and all that, then I want to show you where all this is going. So you're not captive to that tool. You know exactly what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead like before and just connect back to that box. So that was CentOS. So it's SSH Space, because we're going to connect dev, then at 10.0.245. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in the secure testing password. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and ls this directory. Now, I know you don't have to do double L. I just do. Technically, one L works as well. So as you can see here, though, before I clear the screen, we have no .ssh. We need to create the .ssh, because on most systems, that's where the key files need to be, the authorized key file. And if it's not there, you can set that up on your own. If you're a system admin, you're wondering, yes, you can change that, or anyone can change that. But on most setups, the SSH clients and SSH daemons are looking for that .ssh directory, but that is settable. I'm not going to go into that, but it is changeable. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead here, and we're going to make dir SSH, and we want to make sure that only our user can read this, so that is not acceptable. So we're going to change the mode to 700.ssh, and now we're going to see if that is, yes, that is, because we want only our user to be able to access that, not other people. So if they're on the system, except obviously root. Oh, well, that's not what let's go here. So let me clear. And then what we need to do is we need to go into that directory. I mean, you don't technically have to, but it's just making it easier. You don't have to put the paths in there. So, I mean, technically we could do, now I like VI. So in order to have, well, hold on, let me ls this, there's nothing in here. So in order to have the keys picked up, we have to make authorized_keys file. So you can use, I like VI or Vim, old school, I know, but I've been doing this since the 90s. And so I learned on VI, and you may prefer Pico or Nano or whatever, but I'm going to use VI. So there you go. Love it, hate it, whatever. I'm going to use that. Now we're going to create a file called authorized_keys. So it's authorized_keys. I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to paste that key in. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the I, which takes me into insert mode. You see down here, change the insert. Now, because I'm in a GUI, I can paste this. And then I'm going to hit the escape key, which gets us out of insert mode. I will hit the colon, which you'll see drops down here. And I'm going to type in X, and X will save and close. I could type in WQ, but X is faster. Because W will just write it out and keep it open. Q quits, but X does it all in one nice chunk. And now if I ls this directory, you'll see we have authorized keys. I don't want that to be readable by others, so I'm going to chmod that. Well, we can leave that. I'll just leave that right now because that's a public key. That doesn't matter. We've already 700 the other directory. So if you have strict permissions set up or the server set up with strict permissions, these permissions can matter. So I don't think I set that up, though. I think I have strict off. If that was the case, you'd have to chmod this to ideally 6 the keys to this and then make sure. But I think I've set this CentOS machine up not to enforce that. Okay, so that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and exit this because we're done. So now I'm going to clear this. So now we need to connect using that key, which is very simple. We need to use our private key. So I'll ls this so we can see it. Our private key is CentOS dev. So I'm going to do SSH, then I'm going to issue space.i to include. In this case, I'm just going to type in CentOS dev. Now, if this wasn't if we weren't in the same directory, I'd have to issue something like .keys CentOS dev, and I'll just do that because it won't hurt. But I don't, we're already in that directory, so I could just issue that or just do the file itself. Now we issue the same as before. So I'm going to issue, type the password there. So now I'm going to issue the username @ and then how you connect. In this case, an IP. It could be a qualified domain, whatever. Hit enter. Takes a moment. Now we logged in. Now notice we changed from developer at Mate to CentOS dev at CentOS-dev. And that is the host name. If I host name this, that's what the host name is. So there you go. That's it. That's all there happens to be the keys. But this is not very secure. This is very insecure. So let's exit this and let's put a password on there. So you can always change the passphrase. Because see, look, if someone views this, let's say somebody gets a hold of this file and they take a look at it. Oh, don't look. Oh gosh, don't look. I can't believe. Oh my gosh, I wasn't supposed to show that. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. This is a test environment. You can look at this key all you want. Copy it to your heart's content. Print this screen. But see, this is the private key. This is what's saying, hey, I am really CentOS or CentOS dev. And so if anyone steals this key, copies this key, gets a hold of this key, that could be an issue. And so ideally, you're going to want to protect this so that it has to have a decryption key in essence. So right now, if you notice, I'll just go back and connect. If I connect, I just connect. So that's all someone would have to do if they stole your key. Now, there might be firewalls in place and everything to stop the direct connection, but I'm just saying with the key file, that's all they need. So that's not very good. So let me go ahead and I cleared the screen there. Let's update this. You can always update this. If we go back here, and you'll see the command we used is SSH Keygen. And notice we had this F. That's the file. We can update at any time, ls, if we type in SSH Keygen -F, and then we type in, oh, I'm sorry, I'm still connected. I'm not paying attention. So let me clear the screen now. Okay, so if I ls this now, you'll see we're in the key we want to update is our private key. So I need to do SSH Keygen -F and then enter the file name. And then if I do space -P, that should update the passphrase. So now we can enter in a passphrase. So I'll enter a passphrase of say, how about we enter a passphrase of Connect2SSH. Connect2SSH. So now the passphrase has been entered. So now remember how before we could just connect right in? So let me go find that. It would just take us right in. I hit enter. Now we have to enter the passphrase. So if I come here and I'm someone I don't know, let's try password. Admin, root, all fails. I can't get into the machine. Now it's asking for the password of the machine itself. And if I don't know what the password is, I could just keep on testing, and eventually I'd be blocked out. And so they have to know the password. And if I just, by the way, I'll just so I'm talking let this fail. And you could configure this to actually, if you're someone who's a sysadmin or want to know, you can lock this down to only accept keys, and then it would just kick you out with saying permission denied totally. So that's how you change that. And if you want to update your passphrase, that's how you do it. Again, I'll clear this. You just simply enter in SSH-keygen space -f, the name of the key, space -p. And I could update this to something. I first have to enter in the old passcode because I didn't have one last time. Oh, I didn't supply the right one. So see, people can't even do that. But if I go back and I issue the correct one, now I can enter a new one. That's all there is to it. Simple. Now the last thing I'll show you is, let's say you want to update a key. Very important. So let me just generate a new one. Here, I'll just go get it and generate a new one. And we'll generate a new one and change that, and then I'll show you that, and we will be done. Okay, so I'm going to paste this in here, and I'm simply going to change this to new. Well, let me backspace and make sure we got new. Hit enter, and I will just won't put a passphrase in here. So now, let me clear this. I do ls. We now have CentOS dev and CentOS dev new. So we need to copy the new CentOS dev, or the CentOS dev new. So we'll do cat CentOS dev new .pub. Copy this to our machine so that the new key will work, and it didn't once again copy all of it. Okay, so we're going to clear this, and now we need to connect to the machine. So I'll just go up and instead I keep issuing this. So there we've got the old key. We will connect. Oh, that's right, I changed it. First I was using the original key. Okay, so now you'll see here it tells you 3 attempts have failed. So I'm going to go into the SSH or .ssh directory. We're going to vi this authorized keys. We're going to delete the old key, insert the new key, paste this, and I'm going to save all this by hitting escape to get out of that, and then :X, hit enter. It has now been saved. So if I exit now, clear this, and now if I go up and try and connect with this key, you'll see it doesn't match. It's just asking me for the password. It's not asking me to decrypt that key. It's not asking for the passphrase to decrypt it. It's just asking for the regular password. So if I cancel, and again, the server could be set up not to allow passwords, so it could say keys only. So now in order to not have that occur, if I just go change this to point to the new private key, you'll see we log right in because it's using the new key. And you can have multiple keys, by the way. If I wanted to, I could come here and go into the .ssh directory. I ls this. I then edit the authorized key file. I could insert another key by just simply putting another line. Now this is the same key over and over, but I could have a few different keys that I'm inserting, and you could have 2, 3, 4, 5 keys. That's fine. It's just, and I'll delete this so there's only one, then I won't save my changes. But that's a way how to change your key in case you ever need to change your key. So that's a look at SSH keys, and I'll see you in the next video.